Hey everyone, I am Yvette Lloyd. I am here with Jabbar Williams. He is such a dope entrepreneur. He has a lot going on, but we're gonna get into that later, other things that he have going on. But just imagine you just grossing $2 million into your box truck company. This is something that he has done and he could teach you how to do it too. It's just based upon you on your worth ethic if you can reach that level as well. So hey Jabari, how are you?
I'm all right. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Well, first, before we actually get into everything, I see that for a while that you had a 9 to 5
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
were doing real estate at the same time
Yes, ma'am.
because you was afraid of stepping out on faith.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, tell me a little bit about that because sometimes people want to get into entrepreneurship, but they still want to work too as well, and that's something I did before
Uh,
I actually stepped out too.
yeah. So, of course, that y'all don't know my story. Of course, pretty much y'all don't. I was working 16 years in corporate America. I sold everything. I had like a t-shirt shop. I sold cars, Jordans, anything I could sell as a side hustle while I was working my 9 to 5, but nothing really paid off, you know what I'm saying, to allow me to, replace that 9 to 5 income. So then when I did get into real estate in 2018, I posted it on my Instagram. I flipped my first house in July of 2018, and then I made $176,000. So I thought that was going to be my path out of, my 9 to 5. And I still was doing it. So I would go to the house in the morning. I would go to the house on my lunch break. I would go to the house after I got off work, and I would just stay there till it got dark and just learn everything I could while while I was, still working a 9 to 5. However, I was always afraid to leave my 9 to 5 because I have kids, and I was like, what if this is just luck? What if it just is just one good time? But I did it a couple times, 3 or 4 times, flipping houses, and then the pandemic hit. And then when the pandemic hit, everything kind of shifted. So I'm glad I didn't quit my 9 to 5
Yeah.
during that time. And then that's when I got into logistics. But I still love
Wow.
real estate. Real estate is my passion.
Wow. So even just you working your 9 to 5 and you just maintaining being an entrepreneur, flipping houses
Mhm.
and everything, can you let people know that it's okay to still work a 9 to 5 and still
Yes.
pursue a different dream? Because some of them want to get right out of it, but we have some good moments in entrepreneurship and we
Hmm.
have
Hmm.
some bad moments and we have to prepare for it.
Right. So a lot of people think that you have to have one or the other. Like a lot of people think that if you work in a 9 to 5, that you can't be an entrepreneur, and that's incorrect. I was an entrepreneur. Like I said, I did a lot of other stuff, like smaller skills. I even, like I said, I had a t-shirt shop. While I would get off my job 9 to 5, then I would go work at my t-shirt shop. So you still can have both. And I like this. We see on social media that a lot of people shame people for having jobs, or like
Yes.
it's such a bad thing. You should use your job to, what I'm saying, fund your whatever whatever adventure you want to go into. So I don't see nothing wrong with it. I did it. I worked a 9 to 5, and even when I started my logistics company, I did really well my first year of my logistics company. However, I had a 9 to 5 because I was still scared, because I was scared to
Right.
leave. So not until I had enough money saved up, like I said, say for example, if I stopped logistics, I made sure I had like a year worth of my income saved up. That if
Mm.
anything happened, I still could survive a whole year to go find another, job 9 to 5. But
Wow.
it's definitely doable.
Wow. So, I personally, I don't have any children, but you said you have kids.
Hmm.
With people that's going into entrepreneurship that have children and trying to step out on faith and like remove that job and still maintain their family as well, can you try to give them some type of motivational advice on how to balance things out and how to actually just try to do both at the same time?
Well, I can tell you this. Like, well, for I had kids for a while. My oldest is 22. So when I had my let's say for example, when I had my t-shirt shop, I wanted to create a business. Like my t-shirt shop was a business that made me work inside of my business. So which means I had to physically be there. So I was, I get off work at 6 o'clock, I would go to the t-shirt shop and I'd be working. So I wasn't able to spend as much time with my kids. So then when I got into real estate, it was a little different because when the sun go down, you can come home with real estate. But with logistics, when I set up this company, I wanted to set up a company or a business where I can make money passively. I physically don't have to be there. So I mean, it's just like I always tell people, find a job. I mean, not a job, but an entrepreneur job or whatever you want to start that you can remove yourself from it as soon as possible. Don't set one up where you physically have to be there and you have to do the work in order to make money. Because now, to me, I call that self-employed. There's nothing wrong with self-employed, but your main goal is to want to be able to, you know what I'm saying, run your business without you physically having to be there every day. Like you can go on vacation, you can spend time with your kids. Like when I was working, like my 9 to 5, I missed all my kids' games, doctor's appointments, their moms had to take them. So now being that my job, not my job, my company is like make money passively, I'm able to go to my kids' games and football games and doctor's appointments or anything I want to go to with
Wow.
it.
So I see that you said during the pandemic you had to, it was a big thing as far as the housing,
Hmm.
with you flipping them and everything. So what made you come into the mindset of doing box trucks? Because it seems as though real estate was your passion and you was
It
more
is.
questionable with box trucks.
It was. Well, I was always questioning about box truck because when I heard of logistics, I've always been on the porch. I've been looking from the outside looking in. And to make a long story short, I had a coworker and she went through a divorce, and her husband had trucks. He was paying her $1,600 in alimony. So a light bulb went off. And I said, "Man, if he's making that much money, like how much is he making to pay her $1,600 a month?" So I always wanted to get into the logistics field, but I only knew about tractor trailers. I never heard of box trucks. So
Okay.
then when somebody introduced me, then I had my other coworker, her boyfriend was already doing box truck. So I heard box truck like 2 or 3 times that day. Then I reached out to one of my homeboys and I was like, "You ever heard about box truck?" He told me about Amazon. So he's like, "I got a guy that's already doing it." So he introduced me to the guy that was doing it, and then that's how I started off because I didn't want to go and purchase a tractor trailer because I know they make a lot of money, but the
Yeah.
repairs and the maintenance will knock you out the game. So he told me the rental route. When he told me like you can start your whole company for under $5,000, I thought he was joking. I was like, "Nah, that's not true. That's not possible." But literally, I started my whole company for like $3,200. So
Wow.
yeah.
So I know in the box truck industry, some people believe that they have to purchase their own box truck,
Hmm.
get these loans, trying to figure out how they gonna get it and everything. And then you have another route where you can rent your box truck from rental companies and you can
Correct.
utilize it that way. Do you feel like it's more of a profit or a loss with renting it? Compare renting it to actually ownership.
For me, I'm a big advocate for renting, especially starting out.
Okay.
And like you said, a lot of people always tell people to buy, 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 buy. I always look at it, if you buy a box truck in the beginning, especially if you're not familiar with that industry, it's like marrying somebody on the first date. You stuck with that person. If you rent versus owning is the same steps, nothing changed. However, when that truck break down, if you don't have $10,000 to $15,000 in maintenance or credit card, line of credit, you'll be out the game quick. So I
Yeah.
speak to people on a weekly basis that they don't want to listen to me. They think, "Oh, rent is too high, rent is too high." What they don't fail to realize is like if they spent their last on a truck, the first breakdown, they're out of business. They have to literally rent a truck to pay for a broken truck. It just becomes too cost, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. Like I have a best friend right now. His truck has been broke since August of last year. He's in a rental
Ooh,
truck. Yes, yes.
man. It's
So
just
that
that maintenance,
the
man.
maintenance will knock you out. And so that's what people don't understand. Yes, for a rental, you pay a little bit more, but I'm paying for a peace of mind. When I make my money and my money goes to my bank account, it doesn't leave unless I want it to leave. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's why I like the rental process. Of course, the pros of owning a truck is yeah, you might have a $1,500 a month payment, but you still, when you're making that money, you need to be putting some aside for the maintenance. And most people don't. They spend their maintenance money. So when the truck breaks down, they can't fix it.
So what you actually using rental
Hmm.
box trucks, and you said that your startup was like 3,200. What
Hmm.
did that 3,200 go towards? Was that including in you renting it the box truck
Hmm. Yeah.
or
So
just everything else?
I paid $200 for my LLC in the state of Georgia. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way. You can
Okay.
spend 100, but I got mine like expedited, so it's $200 for my LLC. I paid $680 for my authority, and that's your MC, your DOT, your BOC3, all of the paperwork for the logistics part. Then I put 1375 down for my insurance down payment, and then I put $1,000 down for my rental deposit. So that's how much it cost me to get up and running.
Wow. Do you need any other type of insurance when you going between? Do you do personal box trucking as well, besides Amazon?
No, I do. What you mean, like personal, like other contracts?
Yes.
Yeah, I do the DAT load board as well, but not as much. That's not my bread and butter. Like I only do the DAT,
Okay.
like if my drivers are at a certain location in the morning and then we look for a lot route coming back. But sometimes if my loads drop off at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the dat load board is not opened up at that time.
Oh wow. So
Mhm.
how was it your first year in actually doing a box truck and you just like, okay, I could dig this. I could keep going.
Well, my first year, I was running around, made all the mistakes, all the rookie mistakes, the newbies mistakes that everybody made. I was glued because remember I was working the job, so I'm at my job like a
Yes.
crackhead on my phone all day, looking at the load board, acting like I'm working, but just like always watching the load board all day. So my first year was good. A bunch of learning curves. Had to figure out, the right drivers. I had to get my system in place. I had to make sure my truck was running 7 days a week. So it was good. I'm not gonna say it was bad, but trust me, I made a ton of mistakes along the way. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? A ton of them. Yeah.
I know one thing. I know a few like family members and friends that were going into Amazon. Amazon don't help you with nothing. It's like
They
it
don't.
seems as though they just want you to just, all right, you already know what you're doing. You already came to me, so here.
Yep.
So
That's how
did
they
you
work.
really? It was
Yeah. Yeah. So that's exactly how it is. Because I don't know if you know my story. Like I never drove a box truck before, so I started off with a
wow.
driver. Yeah, so I neber drove. I started off with a driver because remember I was working. So when I was working, I had to be a little bit different from everybody else. I had to put a driver in the first truck. But my drivers, when they go there, that's all they used to tell me, like they rude. And I've been there a couple of times when I go to the Amazon facility too. But they're not going to tell you nothing. When you walk in there, they cutthroat in there.
Wow. So what is
Mhm.
some of the steps that people could do as far as getting involved with Amazon and starting a box trucking company? And I know you offer things in between that too, but what is like some of the steps that they can expect if they come to you for courses?
Well, if you come to me, I'm gonna show you the ropes. I'm gonna show you from A to Z how to do everything from Amazon. I have like ebooks. I have a master class. But if you don't like, what I'm saying, like you just want to browse and try to, see what it's about, familiarize yourself with it. Then I also have like YouTube, free YouTube. I have like a bunch of videos on my YouTube and on my Instagram. I always post like a reel like every other day with like some information, like to give out some content for people to learn and box trucks. And I also provide consultations as well,
That is
phone
good.
consultation.
That is real good. So, in the time frame of you doing box trucks, how much do you find yourself enjoying it for from you going from doing real estate to doing the box truck? Do you find them relatable or no?
Well, to actually be honest with you, I still love real estate more. Like real
Really?
estate is like, yeah, real estate is my passion. Even though it's a lot more work, when they always say do something that you're passionate about. Like I'm passionate about real estate. I like to see like a house that's raggedy and torn put back together. Well, logistics, because I'm not physically driving the truck and I don't like driving. Now don't get me wrong. I love the money and the freedom that logistics has provided me, if that makes sense. So now every day when I wake up, I can do what I want to do. I can make money passive. Every morning when I go to work, in the next morning, I already made money that night with Amazon. So don't get me wrong, I love logistics, but my passion is also with real estate. So that's what I'm physically right now trying to get back into because I don't have nothing to do in the daytime. So I got to find something to do, to pass my time.
So, are you driving any of the box trucks or no?
No, no, ma'am. I drove a box truck one time. I drove it
Really?
from what? Yeah, I had a driver. He wanted me to move it, so I picked up the truck, drove it like about a mile, and that truck was bouncing so much like this the whole time. I was like, nah, this is not for me. I was like, this would drive me crazy driving this truck for 6 hours or 4 hours, however many hours. So it just wasn't for me. And I don't like driving a car, to be honest with you. So I just don't like driving.
So, how many box trucks do you have currently?
Right now, I have five
So you
on the
have
road.
5 box trucks that you
Hmm.
are renting.
Hmm.
Really?
Yeah, and at one point I had eight. You know what I'm saying? So
Really?
yeah, during peak season, when peak season come up in November, I'm gonna scale back up to probably 8 to 10 trucks. So that's the good thing also about renting a truck. I don't have no commitment to it. So when peak season hit, I can pick up, 8 to 10 trucks and like kill it during peak season. Then when it gets to the slow season in January, I just turn the trucks back in. I have seasonal drivers that I done did that with for the last 2 years.
So you don't find that a lot more expensive when you're renting it?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, So I look
Man,
at it like this.
I'm just trying to like
Look, so
put
let me
that.
tell you, how I look at it. I look at it like this. If I can clear $200 a night per truck, right? See, a lot of people, when you speak logistics and I tell them like, oh, I make $200 after all my expenses with a truck. In their brain, they're like $200. That's not going to change my life, right? It's not. That's not. I'm not saying it's not no money, but think about this. That's $200 a night per truck. I have 5 trucks, right? And that's net. That's $1,000 a night I'm making. My truck run 30 days a month, so that's $30,000 that I'm netting, give or take, a month passively without me having to pay for no maintenance, me having to, do
Yeah,
anything with a truck note, anything I want. After $30,000 a month, I mean, what can I afford? You know what I'm saying?
that's
Like,
true.
yeah. So that's
That's
how I look
true.
at it. Now, if you own the truck, let's just say you made $50,000 a month because you make more because you don't you're not paying a rental. But guess what? Every other month, 10,000, 20,000, 10,000, 20,000. You're
Yeah,
gonna be right back to where I'm at with the 30,000 a month. And if
that's
I want more
true.
trucks during peak season, let's go pick up more trucks.
That's true because you got to deal with brakes, rotors,
Yes, and I'm talking
engine,
about my homeboy,
tires.
his truck first time went down was 2,000. The next time it was 4,000 for the turbo. Then the next time it went down was the motor, $19,000. Like that scares me. Like every time I go
Yeah,
and say, you know what, I'm gonna buy a truck. As soon as I do a consultation with somebody, like a week coming up or a week, and they be like, man, I spent $30,000 and I don't even own the truck no more. They scare me right back on the porch.
man, I be hiding on the porch.
Yeah, I do. That would make my blood boil.
Yeah, because it's like you think about all the expenses you would have
Yeah,
once it do break down, but yet when you renting something, is technically not your responsibility.
it,
And then if you get the insurance coverage for something, that's covered on another end,
yeah,
and you done spent so much
yep.
in that coverage.
So a lot of people don't understand. Like they feel like they got to hit a home run. So when you have one truck and you own a truck, they trying to get that $1,000 load. They got to hit a home run every night. I don't have to hit home runs every night. I hit base hits, and I just why this need every day to survive. And then I look at it like this: say for example, if you had a best friend, right, wherever you stay at, and or let's say a best friend or friend, and they had a house, and it was like in a attraction area. And let's just say the mortgage is $3,000 on that house. But let's say in the regulars, it's like 2,000 for everybody else. But they got a nice house in a nice area. And it's $3,000. And they say, hey, I'm going to Dubai for a whole year. What if you rented a house for $3,000 a month? You don't have to pay for nothing in the house because remember, the homeowner is going to pay for all the maintenance and anything breakdown in the house. Now, you took that same house of $3,000 and you turn around and put it on Airbnb, and then that house made you $15,000 a year. I mean, $15,000 a month. You see what I'm saying? So you're making money by using somebody else's equipment without it being yours. You don't have no headaches.
Right.
So that's how I look at it. I came up with the same way with Airbnb, just making a little bit of money off of something that I don't own, if that
It
makes sense.
sounds like you're using your flip technique from you doing real estate and you brought it over to
A little bit, a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, seriously, because that's just like you just flipping a home instead of having a responsibility of renting it out to
Yes.
people or having, people that get government assistance and pay for like housing or something.
Hmm.
Instead of you dealing with the maintenance and the people and not knowing if you get your rent or not, you just flipping the house and just get your whole
Getting all
lump
my
sum of
profit.
money.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean that's a good strategy though because it's
Yeah.
like some people don't think that way to things to be cost less because a lot of times we have this big huge vision and we think we have to have all of this stuff and do all of these things is really technically us being extra and just doing the most when we could just cut the cost and just get it in and out and start you know
Yeah.
residual
Yeah.
income come start coming in.
And see, that's how it is. Like, for example, when I first came into the industry, like, we've always been taught ownership, ownership, ownership. Owning real estate that's appreciating is totally different from owning a depreciating asset. You see what I'm saying? I buy
Right.
this box truck for 50,000 in a month is only worth 40,000 or 30,000. That's different from buying a house too. So that's another reason why a lot of people don't understand. It's different when we talk about owning stocks and bonds and real estate stuff that appreciate. A box truck ain't gonna go up in value. So I don't want to. I'm not in the business. And if you think about it too, all of the big logistics companies do the same thing. They buy them trucks. Let me give you another better example. When you go to Enterprise and you rent a car, you're not going to rent. It's 2023. You're not going to rent a 2019 car, 2020. They always have the new cars. When that
Right.
car hit a certain amount of miles, guess what they do? Send them off to sell.
Send them off to the
Yeah, and they don't have
auction.
to worry about the auction. They get rid of it before the maintenance problems start coming. So that's the same thing.
That is true. I never thought of that.
Yeah, you ain't gonna rent no 2020 car. It might be a nice car to us. Like, ooh, I want this 2020 Escalade. Nice car for us, but they said they ain't dealing with it once they hit that maintenance time.
Yeah, that's true because they let the customers run up them miles and then
Yep. Get
give it
rid of
on
it.
over to auctions or
Yep, that's exactly what they do.
car dealerships, and that's why we got so many cars in the car
Right, right.
industry now with high mileage.
Yep.
Yeah, that is so true. So,
Mhm.
as far as you doing logistics, how many years have you been doing it now?
Since 2021, January. So a little over two and a, about 2.5 years.
Oh man, you moving, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Trying to
so what are your plans for the next 3 years?
get back into real estate. That's my next near goal right now, real estate. And then eventually, I do want to do like motivational speaking, like especially with the youth, because I think a lot, especially young black males, they only think that you have to be a rapper, drug dealer,
Yeah,
athlete to be able to be successful in money. Nobody really
that's true.
glorifies being an entrepreneur like that. So I want to definitely give back to that, like a nonprofit or something.
That's good. That's where a
Yeah.
lot of your blessings will come from too.
Yeah, yeah, I gotta save these boys, man. I mean, like I just definitely want to save the youth. They just misguided right now.
Yeah, that is true. So, what you do in the box company, all of your contracts and everything just go through Amazon only?
Well, I do Amazon like 99% of the time, and like I do the dat load board a little bit. But Amazon is super simple. It's easy. Like literally, once you learn Amazon, you can run your whole company from your cell phone. And literally, I spend less than 30 minutes a day running my whole entire company because with Amazon, you don't need a dispatcher. I don't know if you're familiar with, but if you don't need a dispatcher,
Yeah,
a dispatcher gonna charge you 10%.
ten
You don't.
percent.
Yep. Then you're gonna go through a factoring company, gonna charge you 2 to 4 or 5%. There's no paperwork. There's nothing to submit. Everything you just book the load is yours. Your driver go show up. You pick up the load. You do the same thing the next day. So it's super simple. So that's why I always tell people, Amazon to me is super simple. It kills the dat load board, in my opinion.
So I know it's a few questions I know people may will ask. Do they need CDLs and do they check credit
Mhm.
or even do background checks?
Okay, so for Amazon Relay, what we're doing is Amazon Relay is a little bit different from Amazon DSP. That's a good question because I get that question all the time. Don't Amazon do background check? Amazon DSP does do background check. That's when you see the people put in a little vest and come to your house and deliver a package with a sprinter van.
Right.
They
Yeah.
do background checks, driving records, all of that because they can't send a criminal to your front door.
Right.
Now, Amazon Relay, what we're doing is we're picking up freight from an Amazon distribution center and we're taking it and delivering it to the post office. So with Relay, there's no background check at all. For a 26-foot box truck, if it's 26,000 and below, and that's all I run, is non CDL.
Okay.
And also for what I'm doing, because I'm renting the truck, I'm not buying the truck. There's no credit check. There's no credit given at all. So
Okay.
this credit is not needed in the whole equation. So
Okay.
it's pretty simple.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, seriously. I
Hmm.
think I think the main thing when people go into entrepreneurship, they have to understand they have to put their money back into their business.
Hmm.
Even though when you see a huge money flow coming in, you have a good run and a bad run,
Hmm.
you still have to, save that money for your bad
Hmm.
run so you can be able to cover a lot of things to keep going. And I know that's like something that people need to know.
Yeah, yeah. Peaks and valleys. Because like in peak season, you should make enough money in November and December. Because in January, logistics slow down. Ain't nobody really ordering stuff. Nobody's buying nothing because they don't spend all their money during the Christmas time. Then you got to wait till tax time. Then that's when the money start coming back out.
Mhm.
So I
I
had to
have
learn that the hard way.
yes, definitely for sure. I got a few questions from someone. They said, did you say that Amazon packages are going to the post office?
Yes, Amazon Relay. What we're doing, we're picking up freight from the distribution center and we're delivering it to a post office. And it depends on which area you in. Sometimes we deliver it from Amazon to Amazon.
Okay. Okay. That's good. I hope you guys got that one.
Mhm.
I know someone in here, they also said you never know how much that repair will cost you owning a truck. And she said that's scary.
Yes, it is. I'm telling you, $10,000, 15,000, like is that repair is no joke when it comes to box trucks because it ain't like a car. It ain't $300, $400 a fix.
Yes, definitely.
Hmm.
I also want to let you guys know to also get information from his website, www.boxtruckshawty .com, which is you could get all the information as far as his 2-day training on site, 3-day ride along training, and how to start with Amazon. He'll go through the steps and everything. It's no secret to it. You just have to utilize the services and you will basically get everything that you ask for.
Right. That's right. That's
And
right.
that's just really dope though, because sometimes people will want to withhold information instead of actually just giving it to them, and just everybody just out here making money and have residual income for their families.
Yeah, I get a lot of backlash for that. Like, oh, why you telling everybody? Like, I get a
Really?
bunch of, yeah, I get a bunch of that, man. Like, why you telling everybody? And I'm just like, to me, if I like, I always wanted a Ferrari. If I have a Ferrari, nobody else has a Ferrari, ain't no fun. So I want
Right,
everybody to have
right.
a Ferrari. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's enough money for everybody. Amazon
It
got more
is.
money than anybody. So, like, I don't understand that mindset of not wanting to help somebody else get to the next level. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is. But that's where, like I said before, that's where a lot of your blessings come from, cuz it's a lot of people that don't know this type of information, and
Hmm.
then once they receive it they can be able to prosper on whatever they want to do. But it's like, if we're holding information, it just shows that you don't have confidence in yourself to know that you are in your own
And they're
path.
afraid of competition. They're afraid of
Yes.
competition. That's exactly what it is. I'm like, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat regardless. So I don't
Yep.
care who start, who do whatever. I'm gonna eat. But yeah, people are afraid of competition, big time.
Yes. So I know you say you're going to get back into real estate. Are you going to
Mhm.
have any real estate courses to teach people the game of real estate also?
No, I'm not gonna pretty much do it. I'm gonna have can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, my AirPod made a noise. I'm not gonna probably do a course right now, but I am gonna probably pair with my realtor. And like I do meet and greets too, like occasionally throughout the year. So I'm gonna have her because she's an expert in that field and come on and,
That's
do like a
good.
joint venture because that's more of her lane. I'm just like the fix and flips as part of it.
Yeah.
But I
That's
do,
like
like I said, I do love it. Yeah. I
that's
want to
like
stay
staying
box
in your
truck shorty.
lane.
Yeah, stay box truck shorty. I don't want to keep switching around and like, man, he's doing box truck now. He's doing this. He's doing that. And I just want to stick to what I'm good at.
Wow, that's
Hmm.
good. You should look into like connecting with the different high schools and community
Hmm.
centers and stuff for you to, let the young men know a lot of the
Hmm.
things that you got going on, cuz it's really good that you do want to reach out to them and let them know some sort of guidance, cuz it's so much going on in
Yeah.
the world, and
Yeah.
they
And they need
think
a positive
guns
mentor.
and disrespectful stuff is the cool thing, when the cool thing is actually learning this and bringing in money at a young age.
Yeah, and not having to look over your back. You ain't got to worry about nobody
Oh,
trying to, you know what I'm saying? The IRS, the feds, everybody, we glorify drug dealers and the street life, but they got to always be looking over their back. I don't want to live that life. You know what I'm saying? And I want to show
yeah.
them that you can make money, have the same things as the dope boys or the street guys, but you can do it legally and have a peace of
Wow.
mind.
Yes. May I ask, what was your lifestyle like growing up?
Ooh, that's a good question. My lifestyle, well, my quick story is I was adopted when I was little. So I had an adopted mom that raised me because my birth mother passed away when I was a baby. She had cancer. So the lady that raised me, who I knew as my mother, she passed away at 18 also. My freshman year of my college year, like a week before my midterm. So when she passed away, life was great up until she passed away. When she passed away, I didn't know my social. I didn't know I was gonna survive. I was
Wow.
getting so then I ended up sitting out. Well, actually, she died in April of '97. So I went home for the summer. Got into a car wreck with my homeboy. I was in the back seat passenger. He ended up dying.
Wow.
Yeah, in that wreck. So I ended up sitting out of school a year. Life was hard after that. So then that's when I was struggling. I had to go through the struggle phase. I was sleeping in my cousin's living room on a mattress. You know what I'm saying, in Decatur. But I ended up going back to school because I promised my mother I was going to graduate. Went back to school, graduated, and got into the rat race. But while I was in the rat race, I just knew in my brain that I couldn't see myself working for the rest of my life. But I ended up
Right.
working. So while I was working, I had, little multiple, streams of income, other little things I was doing. But my childhood life was really great coming up. Yeah. I
Wow.
have no complaints. My mother was like the best mom in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Oh,
she raised me with values and respect. And I grew up with three sisters in the house that was older, so it's like I had four mothers in the house. Yeah.
wow. That's a blessing. So I understand your grind now,
Mhm, mhm,
your purpose and everything. Cause I lost my mom and I lost my husband, and
mhm.
what it
Sorry to hear
and
that.
thank you, same to you. I think people really don't understand once you like have that connection of losses like that, it takes you into another mental zone to
Mhm,
a point life is short and
mhm,
to just worry about yourself
mhm,
and just do what God is telling you to do with your life. And some people don't understand when you take losses like that. It's just like I'm just here to give to the world and do what I need to do.
mhm. Yeah, after my mom passed, man, they put me into like a beast mode because, like, I like I said, I days I have no food. You know what I'm saying? I had to pinch my cousin's
Yes.
hamburger meat. I had $5 in my pocket, so I know I had to grind hard. Especially when I started having kids, I know like I s- like anytime my friends or anything they would late on their rent or whatever, they can call their parents. I don't have nobody to call, so I can't even to
Right.
the day I don't have nobody I can call. So that's another reason why I grind and go so hard. 'Cause I don't want my kids to ever be in that position. And then,
Wow.
something can always happen to me, but I made sure I left them something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's amazing. That's very inspiring. You gonna touch many lives just even just sharing that portion of your life, because a lot of times people don't understand the struggle or the things that we've been through to get where we at today. And that's a lot of
Mhm.
times where the reason why we are where we at today.
Mhm. So I'll be nervous. That's why another reason I was scared to quit my job because I don't have nobody I can call and be like, man, I can go sleep at this person's house or sleep at that person's house if it don't work. My job, I mean, my entrepreneur journey, it has to work. It has
Right.
to. Yeah.
Right. So on your downtime of you not working or
Mhm.
anything, what do you do for you for your mental health?
I vacation, I shop,
Okay.
I watch TV, I be with my kids, and that's pretty much it. I'm basically a nerd, to be honest with you. Like I'm a straight up bona fide nerd. I watch a lot of TV and I like to learn. Like every day I always try to learn something that I didn't know, that I previously did that day. And I hear something on TV, I write it down and I just research it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't watch like reality TV. I don't watch sports. Like I can probably name 10 people in the NBA. No, I don't watch no football, none of that. Like you might catch
Wow.
me at a game, but I just never was concerned with something that couldn't give me no money. So I'm always
Right.
watching. So when I told you I learned how to flip houses, what I did is I became obsessed with HGTV and I just watch all the
Wow.
HGTV. So when I want to learn something, I become obsessed with it and just become a nerd.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
like dedication and focus, because a lot of times we usually kill our time with things that is not meaningful
Hmm,
for us
hmm,
to be able to grow in whatever field that we in, and for you to utilize your time into watching things that are educational, and for you to be able to have leverage in your own personal entrepreneurship
hmm,
journey. It creates you to build so much wealth and leave so much for your family and even just have a comfortable life for yourself. And
hmm,
sometimes people don't see it that way. But I myself, I do the same thing. I read and listen to YouTube stuff.
hmm.
I barely listen to the radio because I'm
Yeah.
listening to a dope podcast
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something
That's me.
educational.
That's
Yeah,
me. I'm
like
always trying to learn.
feeding your mind will get you real far.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's the thing. Most people are just concerned with the outside, how my hair look, how I look outside. They don't
Yes.
want to feed their brain. And your brain, that's what you need to exercise. You need to be learning.
You do. You
Hmm,
do, because I've known some people that grew up having learning disabilities, but they're running multi-million-dollar companies
hmm,
because of them watching things to be able to educate themselves even
hmm.
more. It's really just really about the common sense of everything.
Yep, that's true. Hmm.
Wow. So I really appreciate you. Do you have anything coming up soon? Any classes or anything?
Yes, on April, not April, I'm in a whole nother month. See, when you don't
You
work,
in
you
a
don't know
whole
what,
other
what time month.
year.
Yeah. So August 19th, I have my next master class. Master class. Basically, my master class is I walk you through everything that you need to learn for the Amazon from A to Z. I have my compliance office on there. I show you how to use the DAT load. So basically, it's like a mini mentorship, and it's from 12 to 5. Um, what's it? Oh yeah, August 19th. Yeah. And you can
Okay.
book that at boxtruckshawty.com. Or, I also have my ebooks that you can purchase on my website as well.
Yes, that's super dope. Well, I appreciate you so much for being on Life Her podcast. You have
Thank
shared
you for having me.
a lot of information. I hope y'all really learned a lot, and I hope you guys want to know more. So,
Okay. Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
thank you.